Welcome to the new way I'm going to do videos. I'm fed up. I've had enough. And I tell you what I'm fed up with is I'm fed up with every week trying to work out what I'm going to put on YouTube, what wisdom I'm going to give to the world, what is going to go viral, what's going to work, what's going to have the most views. I'm just tired of it. And it's not working for me because I don't end up doing it, because I come up with an idea and I go to record it and I think, oh, that's no good. So then a week later, I still haven't done a YouTube video. So do you know what I'm going to do from now on? I've decided. I'm going to sit here and I'm going to record a video with no particular subject. It might not work. If you don't like my rambling, don't subscribe. If you want to know what's going on inside my head, if you want to join in the conversation, you want to be part of this, hit the subscribe and hit the bell so you don't miss each entry. But we spend so much time trying to please everybody else. And I'd done it at school. I wanted to fit in. And just, I've had enough. So I'm going to be me. And you're going to get me. And who's Stevie? Well, Stevie's paralysed. He broke his neck in 1991. He has carers 24 hours a day. He has help cutting up his food. He finds it hard to breathe because he cannot breathe properly through his chest muscles. He suffers from quite a few illnesses because of what goes with being paralysed. I currently have a problem with my bowels, and which makes life really, really difficult for me at the moment. I find it really difficult to leave home for long because sorting me out, I can't just nip to the toilet. Who asked me? I suffer from what's called autonomic dysreflexia, which is a condition that goes along with me being paralysed. It's something that if anything goes wrong below my level of injury, my blood pressure goes really high, dangerously high, and I need to be sorted and looked after, and it needs to be fixed. It's a medical emergency. Otherwise I could end up with a stroke, or even worse, I could die. But apart from that, I am a pretty happy person. I'm not a victim. I get on with life. I enjoy life. I'm a city councillor. I'm vice chairman of planning. Not sure how that happened. I know very little about architecture or planning. You know, I barely know the difference between a listed building and a non-listed. And I'm sure I sit in on those meetings and they wonder what I'm doing there. But it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because, do you know what? The greatest thing ever is the fact that we're alive and we're aware and we're part of this awesome experience. And I don't know what's going to go on after life. But in this life now, just to be here and be aware and have thoughts and have feelings and experience this, to me, is the greatest rush any human or any entity could ever have. 3 weeks ago, I lost my dog. Not out playing or something. He was old. He was 14, and we made the decision. But he had a wonderful life. He was awesome, and I miss him. And I still put my arm out every night to stroke him at night. And I used to think I used to do that for comfort for him. I now realise I don't. I didn't. I do it because it was comfort for me to know he was there. So I miss that greatly. I forgot what I was saying. Oh, on the council, you know, on the first few months I've been on the council, I was telling them about this Albatross film. There's an amazing film online. If you look it up, it's called Albatross. And it's a film, a few guys went over to Midway Island and they filmed the albatross birds. And it's just an incredible cinematic film. But while they were over there, they realised what we were doing in the way of plastic, the way we were polluting the world. And bear in mind, Midway Island is like 2,000 miles from anywhere. Yet these birds were picking up the floating plastic objects in the ocean, and they were feeding them to their babies. And the thing is, with albatrosses, they need to leave the island. They need to fly in order to survive. So they go to the beach when they get to the right age, and they bring up all the stones and all the natural things they could not digest. Well, that's okay in nature because stones are relatively easy to bring up. But lighters and straws and other plastic things aren't. So they go to bring that up and they cannot. And the thing is, when they have to set off on this flight, because they take off and they don't land for months, a real leap of faith. I'm not sure I'm that brave. But they balance their weight, and they keep trying to take off a little bit, and then they bring up a bit more and they try again. And they get to that perfect balanced weight of an empty stomach. But if they cannot bring up that lighter, that straw, that bit of plastic, that children's toy that you used to put into the star or the square or the circle, they can't bring that up. They can't take off. So they stay there and die. Well, I was presenting something to the council. I was mentioning something. It wasn't a big presentation. It was the first time I was really speaking to the council. But I wanted to get a group of people around to go and watch this film in the cinema. Can't remember quite what happened. It didn't end up coming off. And I said to them about this bird that I thought went extinct with the dinosaurs. And of course, I was talking about, I was getting confused between the albatross and the pterodactyl. But the point of that story is, we get things wrong. That's humans. We're just human. And to be human is to try to be like everybody else, to try to fit in, find connections, and then try to outgrow them and do more of our lives. And then to try to find who we are and find where we fit in. But instead of trying to fit into becoming that square to fit in the square hole, we find out what we are, what shape we are, who we are, and we find that niche. So instead of trying to, like I say, it's a really bad analogy at the moment. And like I say, these videos are not going to be scripted, not going to be thought through. But for most of our life, we try to shape ourselves to fit in the hole. Like we see a hole and go, that's square. So how do I become square? But instead, let's just be who we are. And if you're in circle, be a circle. If you're a star, be a star. And go and find the hole you fit in. Stop trying to make yourself into whatever hole it is. And I think that's the greatest gift of being a human. Yes, it's an ego thing. Yes, of course it's about, look at me and I want to show up and I want to be someone. Regular people of my lives and things like that will realise that there's a true self below all that noise. But we spend so much time in that noise. Why don't we be in it and enjoy it? Be part of it. I found in a book, The Buddha's Still Teaching. It's Jack Cornfield done a book, and it's all little verses and talking in it. Talking? It's a book. Well, you get talking books now. Audible, don't you? But there's a page in it, and I love it. And it says, the emergence and blossoming of understanding, love. And intelligence has nothing to do with any tradition. I'm going to start that again. That's the other rule. We're not going to do any editing on these videos. You're going to get what you get. 10, 15 minutes. Right. The emergence and blossoming of understanding, love and intelligence has nothing to do with any tradition, no matter how ancient or impressive. It has nothing to do with time. It happens on its own when a human being questions, wonders, inquires, listens, and looks within, without getting stuck in fear, pleasure, and pain. When self-concern is quiet, in abeyance, heaven and earth are open. I like that. It's kind of the opposite of what I was talking about, but when we let the noise of the pain and the suffering just... that's the true self, below all that screaming and the voices within, the wanting to be happy. The minute you want to be happy, you're lost. You know, you can't want to be happy and happy. So I'll tell you what I'm going to do. So I'm going to do a weekly video like this. I may not have a pink shirt on, so... and let's just see where they go. Let's see how they go. Join in with the comments. Let's get a conversation going. I'm gonna tap my singing bowl and let's just sit for a couple of minutes and let's spin the hell out of YouTube with no sound. Just become aware that you're breathing in and you're breathing out. You notice how quiet the world becomes the moment you do that. And notice how quiet your body becomes and your mind becomes. Everything just seems to go, Well, look, I'm Stephen Webb, and I'm going to do more of these videos, whether you like them or not. That's what I'm going to do. This is what my channel is going to be about. Just me, weekly, talking, seeing how it's going to go. And if you want to know more about me, head over to my website, stephenwebb.com. That's all I've got for this week, and I will see you next week. Thank you. And if you don't want to miss any videos, hit a subscribe and hit the bell. Take care. Love you guys. See you soon.